I've been rebuilding the landing page for learn.websquadron.co.uk and I wanted to use Elementor's version 4 atomic elements, mainly because I just wanted to play around with it a bit more and just show you that I'm actually using it on a live site. What you see on screen are the scores, and that's the mobile view, and I think you'll agree 98% on the mobile is pretty damn good. And hey, the SEO and accessibility is not doing too bad either. And when you look below, you can see that things are loading through pretty quickly. Now, I know I got a tiny bit of cumulative layout shift, and I'm not overly bothered by that, so let me very quickly show you how I built it. Because even though version 4 is evolving, and I know there's quite a lot of widgets we'd like to see built out within the atomic element component side of things, but that shouldn't stop you building it out. And if I have had to use a version 3 widget like the menu, that's okay, because the bulk of what you see on screen is Elementor version 4 atomic widgets. Just a quick reminder of the score. It's really good. So here we go. Now I could zoom in, but I want to show you exactly how it would look on a desktop. If I zoom in, it's still okay, but it kind of distorts things a little bit. So I'm going to leave it at 100%. And as a reminder, if you use my page zoomer code snippet, you could, if you want, then change your VH to go from 100 to, well, basically whatever you want. If you want to get an overview of the page, this is a really quick, efficient way to do it without you having to print full screen. What I did was create quite a few variables and classes, and I've repeatedly used them. If I click on the design system above, I'm going to go to my variables, and what you're going to see is a load of font sizes. And this is where they've got clamp formulas, because I like my typography to be fluid and responsive. So when you go from desktop to tablet to mobile or any other device in between or whatever, the fonts are gonna shrink and grow without getting that annoying step change. We've got some colors, we've got my font family, custom loaded railway, and I've gone and added in my colors. This is what you need to do, all right? Go and set up your variables, because once you've done that, then you can go and build out your classes. So this one over here, which is font size large, this is going to be using my large variable. And my button BG color, which is the background color for the button, is using the accent color. Now, before anyone criticizes me, I know I'm not using like BEM class names or proper terminology. This just works for me. And I do think that you should go for what system works for you. But if you want to follow a set rule, that is totally okay. I just like to build because I like to think of the end user, and they are gonna much better, easier understand that. I mean, this website's for me, but imagine this was handed over to someone. BG color, background color, kind of makes sense, right? Anyway, back into my header. This is where I went and created a class. I got two classes. I got container full and container 1200. Container 1200, if I click onto it, you can see it's gone green. If I go to spacing, everything is 0 except the padding is 2020. And the size for this is set to 1200. So anytime I add in a flex container and I add in that class, it automatically adopts those values. However, I have got another class, and I'm going to click it for container full. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it so you can now see that everything went all the way across. So if I now hit the chevron, you can see my logo and menu have gone all the way. So container full, now the size is set to 100%. And that just meant that anytime I decided I was going to have a container, like further down here, which goes all the way across, I would go and implement container full. Let's go and put back in container 1200. Then inside of there, I went and added in an SVG for my logo. Pretty simple. If you want to use images, you can do. But if you want to maintain the sharpness, I recommend you go and add in an SVG. And then I just went and styled it out. Now, I'm not going to go through every single setting here, okay? Because you should be kind of used to this. But I just want to show you the structure of it. Over here inside of the header, I went and added in my version 3 menu. We don't have a version 4 menu system at the moment. You could build one out. You could add in buttons and stylize it. But then you got to think about accordions, etc. if you are now going to have like a drop down on there. So you could build it, but you may find it's quite a bit of work at the moment, especially when you eventually get over to the mobile. You got to make sure you handle that. Now, I have got another video coming out next week where I'm going to talk more about how to ensure things look correct on when you get to the mobile, but I'm not going to focus on that here because at the moment it looks scrunched up, but it ain't scrunched up. So please don't look at that and go, Imran, that don't look right. Trust me, in next week's video, you're going to see what I do to handle that. Let's go now into the page. Again, I've got a container with container 1200. So once you've created that class, so So you just go over here, give it a name. So let's say I was going to go for one that was container 1000, okay, which I'm not, but let's pretend I was. Because it's now green, anything I set is assigned to that class. So if I go to size and I set the width to be 1000, I mean, just for simplicity, I'm going to go and set it to be 100. Can you see what everything's done now? Let me just get rid of that. Do want to point out, if at any time this happens where suddenly your colors lose their styling, don't worry, just refresh your page. So like I said, this has adopted the container 1200 styling. Then I ensured it was set as a row. Now don't do that on the container 1200, because if you do and set it as a row, every time you add that class, it will become a row. Instead, I went over to local, and you can see the difference in colors there. So this is telling me green. This is applicable to that class, but there are two other things going on. You can see the colors there. They're not in green, and that's because they're coming from local. So if I go over to local, you'll now see they've become pink, and the other ones have grayed out. So that's letting you know what is applicable and is not. Spacing, well, you can see now I've got 80/80 at the top and bottom. I've also set my height to be 92 VH because my header was 8 VH. I should have mentioned that. You go to layout, and this is where I'll set it as a row and space between, because inside of here, I've got two child containers or two flex containers. And you can see there's no class applied, because what I did is I just went and set the sizes and the padding and the layout. Was it going to be a row? Was it going to be wrap? Was it going to be column? I could have created a class, but at the time I was building it, I was a bit unspecific or not sure if I was going to have 50%, 48%. Would it be a column? Would it be a row? So sometimes I don't like to always create a class for everything. Now you could do, but I'm going to be brutally honest here to you. How long does it take for you to go and set the size and the row and the column and the wrap? Seconds. So I could complicate it or keep it nice and calm and peaceful for myself. If you don't like it, I don't care, because I'm Imran from Web Squadron. Now inside of this container, I just went and added in lots of headings. Here's a heading. It's a H1 heading. You go to style, and I created classes. I created a class for the font color text. I add that. It takes on the text color. I added in font size small. It took on that clamp. Over here, we've got another one. I got and added in my text. It's a H2. I added in a text class, an XXX large class, and a highlighted text class. What's this? I've got another video about this coming out, but this is where it went and did the underline. That video will be coming out shortly as well. You know, it's just like what you were doing in version 3. You set your column gap, your row gap, you add in your items. Is it a H2? Is it a paragraph? You go and add in your style. Can you notice the pattern here? Font color text. You create the class, I just add it. Font size normal, add it. I apply what I want to do. Take this button now. I've got a link in there so it knows where it's going to go to, hashtag, so it's going to take you somewhere on the same page. I've gone and done my attributes, by the way. This is important. You know, you got buttons, area label, accessibility, say where it's going. In terms of style, I've got button BG color text. Let me click it. So now you understand what is this class. So the effect on here, that I have a hover effect on here. Let me just show you. If I click over here, I've got normal, hover, and I've got a focus as well. If I just stay on the normal for now, I've set a transition. So when it does go to hover, it takes 200 milliseconds or 0.2 seconds. Can you see when you move it kind of just expands? So I'll show you that in a moment. I've gone and set my border. This is applicable to that class. So anytime I add in a button, I could either copy paste it. I could convert this into a component, but to keep things simple, I didn't want to go down that road. I just said, I'll just add that class, and it automatically applies all this styling. The border radii 8, I've gone and added in my color. So this is where you click on it. Oopsie daisy. I click on it like that. And then I click variable, and I said, right, this is going to be that text color. And that's why it's called BG color text. I've got another one called button BG color accent. Obviously, I picked the accent color. So I've got these two different button classes. I can go that one, and it automatically applies everything. Typography, I've gone and applied the medium font size clamp. I've got the white variable. So I've applied my variables. I've decided this button will always be semi-bold. This is custom loaded font. It's always going to be railway. So I don't have to have a railway class. I could if I want, but I'm applying it. You go and set your padding. I've also ensured in layout it is aligned in the middle. If I go to the other button, this is exactly the same, to be honest. The difference is the background color, which is using accent. So what I did was I duplicated the black button, and then I renamed it, and then I just went and changed the color. So that gives me another class. Down here, I've got div blocks. And again, I'm not going to go through the entire page, because once you get your hero banner and you get your head into using styles and repeatable patterns in a way, everything becomes easier. Down here, I have a div block. Inside of this div block, and by the way, I've got 3 of them, and this is set as a row with wrap and all of that. I haven't actually got any classes, but I have applied some sizing. So the size is 22%. And then I've got another div block. So I've got a flex parent. Inside of it, I've got 2 children. One for the image, one for all of my text. Inside of it, I've got a div block. Inside of it, I've got another div block. And that's because that div block has a paragraph and a paragraph. Now, you're going to say you didn't need to do that. You could have done bit of absolute, bit of positioning. These are so lightweight. I've shown you my scores. I've shown you it. I'm not lying, okay? This is what you would have seen on the hero banner, even though it's a mobile view. It's 98%. So people that go, oh, that's too many children, intersection, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, fine. But it's all down to how you build. Now, this is just 2 separate paragraphs. The reason they're separate is because of the typography. In the second block, I just added in an image. There's no class. It's just a WebP image. Obviously, I sized it a particular way. And then I went and set my size to be 65 VH, even though the entire parent container is 92, because I wanted it to look a certain way. Now, further below, I have got another parent container. This one is set to be container full. Background color text. See how we're using the variables? Then inside of here, I went and added in another flex box. And this is now container 1200. So what you get is a background parent container that goes all the way across with my background color. And then I got another flex container inside, the first child, that is now 1200. And then inside of there, well, obviously you go and set it to be a row and whatever you want wrapping. I just went and added in lots of SVGs. And all I did with these is just go and set their sizes. Further down here, I just continue what I'm doing. So I've got a container full. Now, this did not need to be a container full. I want to make a point. This had a different background color. It was gray all the way. Because inside of here, I then had this, let me get it right, 1200. So I had a full width, and then I had a 1200. And it was grey and white, and I switched it around the other way because I went, no, I don't like that. I don't need that container full, but I've left it in case I ever change my mind. And I do want to point out that if I just show you the structure, we got this parent container, we got a child, and then I got another child. Because again, I was messing around with colors and images and stuff. And then inside of here, I've got a heading, paragraph. This paragraph, you know, I've stylized the background. It looks like a div block, but it's just a paragraph with padding and the background color. I just want you to understand here, right? Look at what I've got all inside of this area here, okay? That's 1, 2, 3, and then I got my content. That's how many flex containers. It's not pulling my score down, the DOM, the rendering, and all of that. Do you understand? I could make it be a little bit better by removing it, but it's not pulling down my score. Because so many people do worry about that. And this actually allows me to future-proofs it a bit. Because if I suddenly realize I do now want to add something in above here, I do want to add in an icon, I do want to add in a background color, I can just do it without rebuilding from scratch. You don't have to agree or disagree with what I'm doing here. Down here, I've just got a container. This is just a 1200. Gone and dropped in some images. I think they're set to 300 pixels wide. I might be wrong. Yeah, they're 300 pixels wide. Sized my images accordingly. WebP added them in here. Down here, again, we've got a flex container. This is again a full. Again, it was because I had a different background color and I completely changed my mind. Let's just open up marketing. We've got a child container, which is 1200. You just drop in your containers and go full 1200, 600, whatever you want. And the class just speeds things up for you. Inside of here, I've got a heading. Obviously, you know, you style it out, your paragraph. Again, look, when you build those variables and then you build out your class, you're just flying through it now. You have a way of working. Down here, I've got a flex box. So each one of these is a flex box. These flex boxes don't actually have a set size because I was always umming and ahhing about how big they need to be, but they're all currently set to be 30%. I could easily create a class. I could call it services or info class or info container 30%. Put those words in. And I know it's a long-winded class name, but it makes total sense to me. This had the background color applied, heading, paragraph. You know, this paragraph here, you'll notice this one over here. Again, it's got the highlighted text. Again, I got a separate video for that coming out probably next week-ish or something like that. This button over here, if I was to click it, you're going to see it's got the button BG color accent. You can either copy paste or just put a button in, and I might go, actually, I want it to be a different color. Fine, I'll just get rid of this like this. Watch what I do. I'm just going to delete it. I just type in text, and look, all of the mentions of text appear. We'll go for that one. Oh, look, buttons applied. In fact, now I'm going to go back and put it back to be the accent. We'll go for a color dark accent. We'll just go for that one there. And I should point out, though, that the hover, I accidentally forgot to say that. So we know over here we've got hover because I had a transition. If I go to hover, and to do that, you would have clicked over here and selected it. You're going to see down here where it says effect. That's the only one that's green. And when you go into it, you're going to now see I've got transform. And my transform has been set to 1.1. So when you hover, this scales it 1.1, you know, X, Y, Z. So it does that movement, okay? If I wanted it to be more dramatic, you go for 2 and it will be double the size now, which can be a little bit overkill. That's what I did in hover. So when I apply that style, it applies to hover as well. So once you've worked out what you're going to do and you like the look of it, you just run with it. You just go with it. This is a duplicate of what I did over here. The only difference is that because it's set as a row and a wrap, and I got 30%, 30%, 30%, when you add 2 more, they obviously go to the next row. This is a copy of what I did here. Just a duplicate of it. This has already got the styling applied. The difference is this has got 1 less box. Down here, again, another duplicate of what I had before. Just change your images. This is, again, just similar thing. I had a full width because I was going to do a different color. Then inside of here, I've got a 1200 and then heading, paragraph and button. And this button, you can download a self-help guide on what you need to look out for on your homepage. It takes 15 minutes. It's free. There's no sign up. There's no subscription. You just go to the website. It's at the bottom. Download the free guide. You really should do this and go and assess your homepage or your client's websites. And then further down here in the footer, I mean, I'm not going to go through everything, but here I've got a footer. Again, same kind of thing where I've gone and added in my icons. I recommend you don't use Font Awesome icons. Go and get your own icons from SVG Repo or somewhere else. Go and download them and add them in, add your attributes. Down here, these are just icon lists. I wanted to be a bit more prescriptive over what I show in the footer menu. But over here, and I will go into the footer, we have the atomic form. You can briefly see my settings and what it's doing. It's very light form in terms of what it's doing. It's not overkill. It's just to collect details if you want to work with me, video marketing, reviewing plugins, building out websites, looking at your website and stuff like that. If I go to the structure for the atomic form, what you're going to see over here is label, which is the full name, input label, text area. And I did cover the atomic form in a separate video. Go and type atomic form in my YouTube channel and you'll see the video. Submit button. I just added in the atomic form and I went and decided what I want to show and how I want to do it. That is not groundbreaking. In fact, nothing I've shown you here should be scary or make you go, I still don't get version 4. You don't have to use version 4. You can still continue to use version 3. I just wanted to rebuild it in version 4 just to show it is doable and you can use it. And this is a live production website. This is not a demo or a staging website or anything like that. And I'm not trying to mislead or fool you or anything. I've shown you the scores. I'm not lying here. But I know that when I come to mess around with this or fine tune it or do anything with it, I can very easily just change one variable. So let's say my accent color is now going to become a pinkish red color. If I changed the variable, every class that was using that will adopt that color. It will just fly through. Really quick and easy, just like how I like to work. Of course, I can be quite systematic and methodical. Look, I'm Imran from Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. Check out our YouTube channel for courses. Go and visit the website, scroll down, go and download the free guide. I do not know who's downloaded it, okay? I don't collect no info from you about it. And you're going to get this document and it's not going to take long. It's going to ask you questions and get you to start thinking about what are you missing on your pages that you really need to make sure you add and use. Take care, see you soon. Bye.